talking about abundance. So, August. We are in August, and what I am calling August is Abundant August. So, August is the 8th month of the year, and so 8 is the infinity, right? And I love the infinity. It's a symbol that I use in audio. Is good? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So the infinity symbol I use in a lot of my practices, whether that be energy healing, in meditation. I really connect with that symbol. So, Abundant August. Okay, so when I first started my journey, I saw a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of teachers talking about abundance, right? And at first, I thought abundance meant something about money, right? You have an abundance. When you have abundance, you have an abundance of money. And well, yes, that's true. When you're in abundant energy, you do have an abundance of finances. You do have an abundance of health. You do have an abundance of relationships, and you feel infinite. So, what I want to talk about is another perspective of what is abundance, because I, for one, study Joe Dispenza a lot. And what I've learned from him is when we can understand something in our conscious mind, it means that we're learning something. So there is new neural networks being made in our brain when we learn something. So that's why study and listening to different perspectives and having an open mind is so important when we are wanting to expand ourselves and wanting to grow as an individual, whether that be spiritually, on a personal level, in your growing muscles, whatever it is. The more that we can learn, the better. So when we have new neural networks being made in our brain, the mind is in the body's in the mind. So when we can understand something, then we can experience it. We can take more power in the experience and have more, I don't want to use the word control, but we're just we're in that creator, that empowered self when we have that knowledge and we're putting it into practice. So another word for abundance that I would like to give to you. So abundance essentially means a lot of something, having an abundance of something, or whether that be energy, relationships, finances. But another way that I want to express this to you is it's infinite. Abundant energy. Thinking about that infinity symbol. That infinity symbol, just like Abundant August 8th, it's infinite. And so where we find this infinite energy, when we get beyond ourselves, as Joe Dispenza would say. That our mind is it's programmed to go through your past experiences, everything that you've learned up to this moment, and that's how we are functioning, is from those programmings. So when we get beyond ourselves, that means beyond what you think you know about what you think you know, beyond what you've experienced, and you're open to possibility. You're getting closer and closer to connecting with that field of intelligence that we have within us. This is what our soul is made up of, is this infinite energy. So when you are in abundance, some symptoms of being in the abundant energy, I love, just keeping a track record on where we're vibrating at. And this is why journaling, I'm super big about journaling, and just keeping some tabs on, how you're doing throughout the day and just reflecting. You can see where you're vibrating at depending upon how you feel and how you were responding to life that day. So some symptoms of being in abundant energy is you just want to give. You just want to give. You want the best for yourself, for everyone. You have this compassion. This is being in soul energy. When you are in abundance, you are in your soul's energy. Your heart is open. You have compassion for all beings. It's a very loving field of intelligence. From Joe Dispenza's studies and the brain scans and the events that him and his team have done, when you tap into this field, you do experience healing. You experience healing and miracles do happen. The frequency of the field is extremely high. And this is what we can conceptualize as love. Because when we tap into this field, we feel infinite. It's almost, beyond words, but if we're going to put words to it to help conceptualize the idea and what I'm speaking of, you feel infinite. You feel like anything is possible. When we get beyond ourselves, beyond what the mind has told us of what's possible because it's from past experiences, that's where the majority of people are making decisions from. You wake up and do the same thing, go to the same place, and have the same thoughts and the same feelings as the day before until you make a decision. So I have some people that I've worked with that they didn't quite make a decision that they're ready to step into their infinite potential. And then I have some clients that, hey, they're ready to go. So to make a decision in Latin means to cut off. So when you make a decision, you are cutting off any other option. You're making a decision. This is where you're going. This is what you're doing. So making a decision to tap into your soul, to tap into that abundance, that infinite potential. And it's the same energy when you tap into it and you expand your heart and you expand and connect with this field of intelligence. That is where infinite possibilities happen. Thought, everything transpired from thought. Someone thought about making this orgone crystal. Like, oh, if we put this and this together and it does all of this magic. So when we learn and teach ourselves every day to tap into that field is abundance, then we're able to see the beauty, and not just see the beauty in all things gray and what we're going through and on earth right now, training yourself to look for the beauty, look for the higher perspective in all that is occurring in your life. When I'm helping someone get into this abundant energy, what's super important is to look at the abundance that is already in your life. The infinite amount of what you already have. Cells. The cells in your own body, you have an infinite amount of them. They're constantly the birth and death process in your body. We look into nature and the amount of leaves that a tree has and connecting with that, with the air that we breathe. When we focus on what we do have instead of focusing on what we don't have, now we are tapping into that field of intelligence. You are tapping into that abundant energy. Another thing that I've noticed is when we're really focused on something that is more egotistical, such as finances, where you're just super, that's all you're focused on is making money. You can make money with your will. But when we tap into our heart and, well, what's the reason behind why I want this money? This is where we get to learn more about our true heart, our heart's desire. Well, I want to travel. I want to start a business serving people. I want to be able to buy organic, fresh food for myself, for my family. Now we're tapping into something that instead of this, I need money, and don't worry, I get that. I get that we have finances and how we exchange for services, for food, for housing, for everything that we have. That's the world that we live in, which is a really hard truth, which is another subject for a lot of spiritual people to understand and really accept. when we focus on the reason behind our desires, and it's not that those desires are bad, we get to know ourselves on a deeper level. And when we tap into that feeling of being able to provide for our family, being able to provide for our family, be able to travel and start the business that you want to, or take the course that you want to, and your why for that, you're tapping into that abundant infinite energy. But you have to make a decision that you are, it's something, when you can understand it. And this is what works for me. I'm only sharing with you and making suggestions, and take what resonates and leave the rest. But for me personally, what has worked for me and what we practice with my clients that I work with is really wrapping your head around this expansive idea. We have that ability to have that expansive awareness and be like, okay, I feel like I understand what this abundance is. It's infinite energy. And science and spirituality have been intermingling, and why it's such a beautiful time to be on Earth, because once these two things were totally separate, but they're merging with quantum, with all of this quantum technology, and with quantum physics and tapping into the quantum field. We have that ability to do that. So you have the ability to reprogram yourself and tap into this energy as a practice to experience abundant energy. And it's something that has to be done every day. And when you do this, yes, your finances are going to shift. It's just a byproduct of that state that you're getting into. Yes, your relationships, you're going to attract people that are of that vibration into your life. I mean, it's amazing when we let go of our limitations and get beyond our limitations and open ourselves up to infinite possibility, that which is abundance. Another name for that field of intelligence that we can create with this abundant energy. Anything. And when it's in alignment with your heart, you have even more power. Even more power. Hi Cheryl, thank you for tuning in. So if you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to put them in the comments. But that's what I essentially wanted to share with you guys today. Is there's a lot of people talk about abundance, and usually it goes right to finances. Well, I'm not abundant, so because I lack finances, I'm not abundant. Well, let's change the perspective and let go of the belief that you are somehow in lack when you are an infinite creator. Now we're getting into what you are identifying yourself as. If you identify yourself with your body and from your past experiences and that all these identities, you're going to experience that same reality. And so yes, you do have to surrender what you've always known about who you are and be open to something more. And that is where we leave the known into the unknown of infinite potential. And that is available to you right now. You have that with you right now. And of course, it's easier said than done. But through practice and through connecting with people that inspire you, having support on this journey, that has been the most transformational for me. Having coaches and having mentors and healers that I work with, and investing that time, energy, money, and resources, all of it into myself and my infinite potential that I feel. And sometimes taking that inspired action, you might just have a glimpse of what it feels like, but when you take inspired action from that state, you create that momentum forward of that vibration at which you made a decision from. I spoke about this yesterday. So at the end of the day, you guys, you have this available to you within your own heart. expanding your heart and connecting with this field and being drawn by a vision. If anything was possible, what would you want for your life? The world's not ending. It's going through a rebirth, and perhaps so are you. August is about new beginnings. It's about transition. It's about that cycle of ending and beginning. So you're beginning a new chapter. And look for those signs that you're beginning a new chapter. I mean, even right outside our property, there's a whole new, brand new road they just paved. So it's like, oh my God, there's another sign that this is a new beginning. It's a new road home. And you have more power, more than ever, to step into your fullest potential and create. For the sake of creating. When we become empowered in our lives, we're no longer the victim of this is all happening to me, that life is just so heavy that it's breaking you down. No, you're getting beyond yourself and your old stories, and you're stepping into that infinite potential. So a really cool mudra. A mudra is a hand gesture that I would like to share with you guys today that you can use in your meditation tonight. I saw it on a video, a mantra that I was listening to today that really helped me get into the zone of my soul. And that is clipping your pointer finger with your thumb together and making an infinity, kind of like a lock. And then you connect the rest of your fingers. And that, to me, that feels like infinite. Feels like this is infinite power right here. That's what this feels like to me. And so I wanted to share that with you guys from something that I saw today that looked, once I started practicing it today, I'm like, I can feel it, and kind of like putting a pull on your hands to pull it apart. This is infinite. This is your infinite potential, and it resides right in here. Okay, so you guys, as you know or might not know, we have Patreon on Wednesdays, which is tomorrow, where it's Supernatural Wednesdays, where we practice really deep breath work and meditation and tuning into our chakras, activating that pineal gland. It is Joe Dispenza's technique tied with the Reiki and techniques that I've learned. So if that's something that interests you, please see the link. And if you feel called to diving deeper into this work and you're ready to dive into your infinite potential, send me a private message. I welcome and invite those that are ready, willing, and able to dive in and ready to step into that infinite potential. It's here for you. It's there for you. Listen to that calling and know in your heart that anything is possible for you, and you get to choose. You get to make a decision, and that decision yields your power. I love you guys so much. Namaste and Ram Ram.